I've just watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and it's literally mad. Let's talk about it. So, what's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness about? I'm not really going to give away any sort of spoilers. All I'm going to say is that it has Doctor Strange, Wanda Maximoff, a multiverse, and whole lot of madness. And sometimes that is the problem. But let's just talk about what works in the film first. I think the performances are all top notch. Benedict Cumberbatch knocks it out of the park as Dr. Stephen Strange, and not just the version that we know him as, but all the other versions of Doctor Strange that appear in the film. He gives a great performance and seriously holds the film together in so many levels. Another performance that really stands out here is from Elizabeth Olsen playing Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda Maximoff. She gives a very good performance consistently throughout, despite her character not exactly being as consistent. I just really wish the character was slightly better written, but I thought the performance was extremely well done. And all of the other performances, the young actress that plays America Chavez in the film, she also gives a really good performance. I don't really want to butcher her name, so I'm going to put it on the screen. And her and everyone else in the film, great performances all the way through. Another thing that really works in Multiverse of Madness are the visuals. Right from the trailers, you can see that this movie is definitely going to be a visually great film, and it is. There are a lot of visuals that are so creative and energetic in nature that really put you in the mood for the film. And the action sequences are very well shot. There are a lot of action sequences that are memorable. There is one sequence which has something to do with music, which was very creative, and I enjoyed it a lot. Again, the film looks great, it's directed well by Sam Raimi, and it has some really stunning cinematography. I was really excited to watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, not just because it's a Marvel film, but also because it's directed by Sam Raimi, who is one of my favorite directors. He's made the Evil Dead trilogy, he's made the Spider-Man film starring Tobey Maguire, which are among the greatest superhero films ever made. But in this film, surprisingly enough, he harkens back to his horror roots rather than his superhero roots. There are a lot of sequences that play out like a straight up horror film, some of which I really loved, and some of them didn't quite work all the way through. There are moments that genuinely stand out as a very effective horror sequence, but when you put all of it together, it didn't quite work as the different tones kept clashing for me. But again, I really respect the fact that they tried to do something different within the Marvel Cinematic Universe and introduce horror elements into what is a superhero story. Coming to things that I didn't quite like, the film is extremely fast paced, like there is barely a moment you can stop to think, and that is where the problem comes in. There are moments that feel so messy and unnecessarily convoluted, and it also makes it seem that the film is overly self-indulgent and doesn't quite come across as smooth or streamlined, which would have definitely made the film a lot better. There are some moments of choppy editing that doesn't always blend. When it is Sam Raimi style that is happening on the screen, it really works. But when you fuse it with some generic Marvel elements, all of it doesn't quite come together as you would expect, and that left me underwhelmed. The film within itself has so much potential that at the end of the day, when you look back at it, it doesn't quite resonate well, because you could see the potential being wasted in so many sequences, because there are genuinely better ways to treat the concept like that. You can clearly see that they weren't quite hitting that level with the writing, because the film honestly has somewhat of an identity crisis as to what it wants to be, and that definitely let me down. Another problem that the film has is that it is sometimes indulged in fan service, that it almost feels like the fan service in the film just exists to please the fans and doesn't really add a lot to the story that they're trying to tell. And that also disappointed me, because it almost felt like certain cameos in the film, I'll definitely not spoil them for you, but there are certain cameos in the film that just felt like they were there for the sake of being there when they didn't really add a lot to the story. Regardless of all those flaws, I definitely had a lot of fun watching it. There were a lot of moments that genuinely stood out and made for a really enjoyable film. All of it does not come together as well as it should have. It's just a curious case of a film where the individual scenes work, but when you put all of it together, it doesn't quite hit the sweet spot. With all of that said, I'm going to give Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness a 72%. So those are my thoughts about Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. If you have read the reviews, the film is clearly polarizing people. So tell me your thoughts down in the comments. Did you love the film, or you thought it was decent, or you just didn't like it? Put all of that down in the comment section below, and please do let me know. Also tell me what are the films, shows or books you want me to review on this channel. I'll do my best to do that. Thank you very much once again for watching, and I'll see you again.